Okay, so have you ever been in a physically scary situation? Not necessarily like life or death, but have you found yourself doing something, experiencing something that was dangerous, or you were in a situation physically that you felt like you couldn't control, right? So, and I don't mean like a roller coaster that you actually put yourself in, although I did put myself in this situation. But here, let me share with you what I'm talking about. So I'm a relatively new mountain biker. I've got like a whole, top of the line mountain bike, got it all geared up and all of that. And we live in an area that is known for really having like great mountain biking trails. Okay, so hiking trails, but mountain biking is huge out here, specifically where we just moved. In fact, they have the like the motocross races out here and all of that. And we just went and saw one professional a couple months ago. So anyway, yesterday I decided I was going to take the day off, and I wanted to take the morning. I'm taking the break a week off from lifting. And so yesterday I decided that I was going to take the day off and do something different. I was going to go out and go mountain biking. And typically I mountain bike with my husband, who's really experienced. And we're on pretty regular average trails. So yesterday I went by myself. I was like totally just psyched to get out, get some fresh air. And I took my mountain bike and I went to one of the trails. Now, this is me, right? I just jump in and do stuff. I didn't research the trails. I did not know that the trail that I was going to be turning on and that I turned on is really an advanced bike trail. Okay, so it's like 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm the only person on the trail at all. And within 500 feet of being on this trail, I realized, holy shit, right? Now, could I have turned around? I guess I could have, but I realized all of a sudden I was in this downhill experience. And when I tell you it was intense, it was intense. I am not an adrenaline junkie. I am very much, I do a lot of stuff that I'm fearful of, like this, that I find myself in these situations, and I push the envelope in all areas of my life, but I'm not an adrenaline junkie. Are you? Are you somebody that like loves speed? You love to be scared? I mean, my husband's like that. I'm not like that. So here I am on this mountain biking trail, which is high skill. It's an advanced skill. I'm talking really sharp cuts, drops, ramps, just like I'm on an incline. So literally I've got like this much room, and there's a drop, and I'm going over little bridges. And I mean, so what's really crazy is at one point, when I came down really fast, I came down on something and I'm like gripping, right? Have you guys ever been in this kind of situation? I'm like gripping the handlebars, I can feel the tension in my body, and I come down over this hill, and I'm like twisting and turning, and I get to this point where there's a little bit of an uphill, and there's a huge tree trunk. I mean, the whole trail was like this, like, trunks and vines and all of that. And there's this huge tree trunk. And here's what I did. Instead of riding over it, like keeping that momentum and going over it, in that moment, I let fear grip me, and I pumped on the brakes. So I stopped, right? Instead of slowing down, I stopped. And what do you think happened, right? Like, what happens when you stop as you're coming down fast and you're about to like go over this big bump? What do you think, right? Literally, you crash. So I was able to brace myself because there was a tree. By the way, I'm all geared up, so I knew I would be safe. But I could have really gone down hard. And so I remember getting off of the bike, like regrouping myself, like letting my heart rate come down. And in that moment, I just got it. It was like a metaphor for everything, right? It's like, when you're coming up on hurdles in life, when you're coming up on obstacles, so often we like stop, we put the brakes on, we let the fear immobilize us, right? When instead, if we just ease up and continue to ride the momentum through it, through it, then we get on the other side. Right? We get on the other side. And often we make it more difficult for ourselves because we tense up, we put on the brakes, we get scared, we stop, because we don't have control. We're afraid that we don't have control going over it. And so it clicked for me that was something, that for the rest of the ride, I had no idea how much longer I was going to be on this trail. I'm in the middle of the woods, a few thousand feet in elevation. And I realized okay, there's really no going backwards. It was a one-way trail. You can't really turn around and climb. So it was okay, I got to ride this all the way down. So I've got a decision. I'm either going to be tense and try to control this situation, or I'm going to drop in and I'm going to allow myself to just go. I'm going to allow myself to just go with the flow, just ride it out. I'm going to trust my body. I'm going to trust the universe. And I have tools. I have mental tools. I have thinking tools that I get to use right now that I know will carry me through this, just like it has in other areas of my life, right? When I've had to, get through my mother dying suddenly, when I have to get through, taking my niece in overnight and becoming her parents, when I had to get through quitting smoking, when I had to get through, other physical challenges that I've put myself in. What we go through physically, it really is a metaphor for everything else that we're going through in life, and how we handle situations in our business, in our day-to-day life, is really the way that we're going to handle things anywhere. And so I got it in that moment. Okay, I'm going to ride the rest of this. I have no idea what's coming. And I have the mental tools, and I'm going to use that to get me through and create a fun experience. And that's what I did. So in that moment, I dropped into a rampage of thoughts that would support me through. And this has happened to me before when I was surfing in an area that was way above my skill level, as well as a completely second time ever surfing. So I remember that and I used it here. And it's exactly what I was talking about yesterday on our live. It was I know that whatever I focus on for 17 seconds, I'm going to start igniting more of that. And then if I go for 68 seconds plus, I'm going to start manifesting other scenarios and thoughts and feelings that are going to support that. So as I was ready to go downhill again, I sat on my bike. I took some deep cleansing breaths, right? I did a quick little mantra. And then I said, nothing to it but to do it. Let's just go. And I remember letting go of the brakes, right? And just flying downhill. Now it's not like I went without any responsibility. It's not like I was going balls to the wall, but I let go of the tension. And I start to say to myself, this is fun. This is easy. I'm good at this. This is so much fun. Oh my God, I love this. Oh my God, that's so exciting. Oh my God, that was scary. That was fun. I started changing my script. I started changing my languaging. And as I started changing my languaging, I just felt that I went from that fear and tension to excitement. I got it. That adrenaline feeling that people are looking for, right? That adrenaline seekers and so there was this moment where I came around a corner and you have no time to really see what's coming. You can't see ahead. And here I went flying over this huge ramp that had I seen it, I would have tried to avoid it, but I went right over it. And it was the most exhilarating feeling ever. I mean, I felt holy shit, I can conquer the day. Everything felt so easy after this. Everything felt so easy after this. Had I saw that coming, and had I not been in that state of flow of shifting, right? Deciding to just totally shift the way I thought about the moment, I would not have had that exhilarating experience. It would have been me again, pulling on the brakes and tightening up as I went over. And so I would have robbed myself of that. And quite possibly gotten hurt, right? Because that's what happens in situations like that. When you like slam on the brakes or, you tense up, you actually create more of a negative experience that you don't have to experience. Does that make sense? So, when I got through this trail, which felt like an hour, but really it was about 40 minutes, 35 minutes, all downhill. And it was just an amazing experience. So when I got out of the trail, I just remember feeling like, holy shit, like I am going to crush this week, right? I'm going to crush this week because I made a choice in that moment that no matter how scary this feels right now, I'm going to choose to experience this as easy, as exciting, as exhilarating. I'm going to let go. And this is a control thing, right? How many of you, and you're listening to the replay, there's only a couple of you live right now, but how many of you in your life know that you're more comfortable when you have control of things? You're more comfortable when you have control. Meaning, like in anything. So think about like the things that you even enjoy physically. So I'm very comfortable lifting weights, climbing mountains. I'm very comfortable riding my bike uphill where it's strenuous and you've got to push and you've got to dig deep, right? That is a comfortable place for me to be because all of my life I've had to push through. I've had to be tough. I've had to really muscle through things, right? Yes, Sasha, totally a controller. So those of us who are more comfortable in control, and it's funny, when I came out of this trail, what do they call it? Course, to get out, I had to climb back up the mountain in a whole other area, all gravelly. But I was totally comfortable. It was like, okay, here's my comfort zone, like just going uphill. And again, it's that reminder that those of us who are comfortable controlling things, and we've been a fighter all of our life, it's gotten us to a certain point. That's the truth. There's no denying that. But at a certain point, we've got to let go. At a certain point, we've got to go downhill. At a certain point, we've got to ease up. And it doesn't have to be strenuous. It doesn't have to be all uphill. It doesn't have to be all push, right? We can let go and just completely soar downhill and ride those waves. I couldn't believe how freeing it felt to be going over these ramps and then through these, the momentum was carrying me. The momentum was carrying me as opposed to me pushing it. So what I love about this metaphor, and I got off of the bike and I was like, oh my God, there's so much metaphor here. There's so much to share here. There's so much to connect, right? To my clients, to my tribe, to my community, just like I'm doing right now. And what I'm so grateful for is having those mindset tools, having those tools in the moment to shift, right? Having the ability to say in that moment, I can choose the way I'm going to experience this from this point forward. And so what could have been 30 minutes of tension and fighting and fear really was only 5 minutes. And the next 25 minutes was exhilarating. And so that's really what I teach people how to do. This is really the sweet spot of how I help people create the life that they really want to live. It's how I help people get exceptional results in their business, in their fitness, in their personal life. It's not about strategies or anything like that. It's really about teaching people how to think in a way, how to rewire the way that you think in any given moment so that it becomes a habit, so that it becomes a practice, so that it becomes innate, right? It just that quickly was a shift for me because I've been practicing it for so long. And that is what I teach people to do. That is how I teach people to get the result that they want, to have the experience in life that they want. Because when you can control the way that you think, then you have real control. because there's so much else that we don't control. But when you can control in any moment the way that you think and how you, whether or not you let your thoughts go in one direction or another direction, then you've got the power over your life. So I'm not working right now. I'm not taking one-on-one clients, and my coaching academy doesn't open up until next year. Actually, we'll start enrollment at the end of this year. But right now I am still doing VIP days virtually online, just like this on Zoom or in person. So if that's something that you're interested in, just drop a little comment here and me or someone on my team will reach out to you and talk about how we can put together a process and a plan for you that will have you thinking in a certain way that will create the result that you want this year or next year in your life, in your business, or in your fitness. Because really, it's the work around your mind has to be done first before you're able to actually execute with consistency on anything that anybody teaches you. Do you get that? Like, I cannot tell you how many of my friends refer clients to me. That's their business clients, right? Because even though they've got the structure, they've got the plan, same thing with fitness. Like, there's this piece that's missing. There's this piece that's missing. And so no matter how much coaching or support or systems they have, if you haven't taught someone how to really master and control the way that they think so that their thoughts don't control them, then you're just on a hamster wheel, not getting the result that you want and not having the true freedom that you want in your life, in your business, in your relationship. So if that's the type of power that you want over yourself so that you can control yourself and your thoughts and therefore your actions and everything else that you manifest in your life, then that's when you want to reach out to me for a VIP day or to even talk about whether or not that's a good fit for you. So I look forward to coming back in and seeing what your shares are about moments that you've been like scared shitless physically, and like, what have you done? Have you used anything that I'm talking about here, or have you let the fear, did you let the fear control you in those situations? I want to hear from you. I'll be back in later to see your comments. Have an incredible Thursday, everybody. Do something fun.